Hi, my name is Jim Weaver, and today I'd like to show you a project called the JFXtras project. JFXtras is an open source project in which contributors have created controls and other capabilities that haven't made it yet into JavaFX. It's more of a labs kind of experimental environment for ideas for controls that could eventually make it into JavaFX. So the homepage for the JFXtras project is jfxtras.org, and from here you could download the jar file and the JFXtras jar file and actually use it in your project. And there are other things that you can download and try out. Here's a list of the contributors to the JFXtras project. And if you wanted to get involved more, you could actually go to GitHub and download one of the projects or clone one of the projects in GitHub. So here's JFXtras Labs, where all the controls and gauges I'm going to show you are. But then there's also a project called JFXtras Ensemble. And as you probably know, in JavaFX there's a demo application called Ensemble, and its purpose is to be able to show you the controls and other facilities that are in JavaFX and how to use them, a lot of code behind them, documentation, etc. So in JFXtras we've leveraged Ensemble, and we've created a version of Ensemble that shows the JFXtras controls and gauges. So you could clone that project and build this version of Ensemble very easily with NetBeans, and you would be able to then run this application called JFXtras Ensemble. So I'm going to run through some of the different controls and gauges that we have in here very briefly for you. So here's one in which if you had an application that was a calendar based or agenda based, you could use this agenda control to allow users to edit an agenda. Also, there's a object called the bean path adapter, and reading from the description, it's an adapter that permits plain old Java object fields to be bound to JavaFX controls without the need to manually create JavaFX properties. So as you can see, each of these examples has a description and some source code, and then like the Ensemble project for JavaFX, you can save a NetBeans project or copy the source in the example of using these different controls. So here's a big decimal field. It's a text field that holds holds arbitrarily formatted big decimal values. And then here are several different calendar picker samples, picking years and months. Here we're sliding the hours and minutes. Another sample here. Here we're showing we can pick multiple dates and ranges. Here's a calendar text field. And then here's a time picker sample. Here we'll go ahead and show the hours and minutes. Here's some text field settings. This is a mini icon button, where with an icon button you get some text and an icon. This one allows you to specify an extra miniature icon, and you can also animate it to draw attention to it. Then here's a radial menu. This is a rather nice menu kind of control, where you can select options, either one level or two levels. And then here are some spinners. And here's some more examples of those same spinners with different configurations. Then here are some windows for an MDI, multiple document interface kind of style. Minimizing dragging around. Here's another one where we're showing a video and just providing different effects here, shrinking, growing, rotating, of course minimizing. Then here's some gauges. Some of these gauges, like bar graph, augment what's available in JavaFX. Here's a battery gauge that allows you to programmatically show charging by either a flash or a plug indicator. And here's some nice clock gauges that would be very useful for an application for instrumentation. Here's a throwback dot matrix segment gauges, 5x7 dot matrix. And here's some indicator gauges. These would be good for instrumentation, these LCD gauges. And then some LED gauges. Here's a matrix panel. Throwback to the 60s where numbers are showing up in vacuum tubes called Nixie tubes. Here's an odometer, kind of a smooth running kind of car style odometer. These would be good for instrumentation as well, these radial gauges. These come from the Steel series that Garrett Grunwald created, and he ported these to JavaFX. Here's a rater gauge for providing ratings. A 16-segment gauge. Here's a split flap gauge. It's kind of a throwback to the 70s style alarm clocks. A step indicator that could be used for wizard steps. And then finally, the classic traffic light that can be programmatically controlled. So I hope you've enjoyed this tour of the JFXtras project, and I hope that you'll go to jfxtras.org and use these controls and maybe even become involved with the project contributing controls. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.